So the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 just launched, and you're probably seeing in your feed glowing hands-on reviews, polished reviews discussing how great this phone is. But what if I told you you're not getting the full picture? That's what we're going to find out in this video today. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. And in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and what reviewers are not telling you prior to pre-order. Now, I've been covering phones for years, and after every single launch, it's the same year after year. We're basically going to get early reviews highlighting the upgrades, polished hands-on, and usually these reviews are pretty darn positive. This is not by mistake. This is because these phones are released early, and a lot of people don't just have enough time to really break down each and everything. So it's kind of like when you get a new product, you're just excited to use it. But at the same time, you're going to hear things like a much better outer display. You're going to hear things like a much better improved 200 megapixel camera, which is upgraded over this Z Fold 6 over here. And that is good because we're getting the S25 Ultra camera. You also seen in this image right here, if you go to the pre-order page, a much slimmer design here. In addition to that, an immersive 8-inch screen, although this one was already 7.6, so it's pretty close. Great multitasking and top-tier performance with the 8 Elite. And honestly, while a lot of that is likely true, this phone is shaping up to be one of Samsung's most refined folds yet, which definitely makes a lot of sense. But from what I've seen so far, there's not a lot of real-world experience out there that you hear in the first wave of videos. But as somebody who's had the Galaxy Z Fold series since the very first one, and I've purchased with my own money each and every one of them, I can tell you some of the things that you might want to know before doing a pre-order here. And first of all, by the way, this is not an attack on the Samsung Z Fold 7. I actually ordered one once again because I love this series. I have the Z Fold 7 in jet black on its way, so stay tuned to the channel. We will be doing our comparisons, the usual content we typically do, but I'm getting it at the same time as the regular people, regular consumers are getting it. So just keep that in mind. So let's go on to the very first one. Durability comes with warnings. Samsung has been refining the foldables over the years, and I've been using different foldables from different brands. And last year's Z Fold 6 even felt pretty refined. It was always something I liked about this phone. Like, the folding mechanism feels very solid and sturdy. But even you're going to see when you get the phone, there's going to be warnings on the inner display. But if you're rough on these devices, or if you're rough on devices in general, don't expect magic just because they've been improved. The Z Fold line is still a risk when it comes to the inner screen. They're still more fragile than slab style phones. That's a sheet of glass on the front. So the front of the Z Fold is still a very strong material, but that inner display, while the crease is less visible now than ever on the Z Fold 7, these inner displays are still more fragile. So I don't really trust them too much for rougher use, even if they've been improved in durability. So the slimmer design comes with a slipperier feel. I could tell you that already as somebody who owns the Galaxy S25 Edge. Having nearly as thin as this phone right here definitely can lead to potential dropping, so you might have to get a case on there. Samsung was promoting I think it was a carbon fiber style case, super thin. I actually ordered that one. That's why I got the jet black, because that'll look clean on the jet black. But these phones always are going to need cases at the price you're going to pay if you want to protect them in any substantial way, unless you're getting Samsung Care and you like to rock your phone without a case. But I definitely plan to discuss how they feel in terms of the body and build, in terms of dropping it down the line. But this thin and sleek design is something that has been praised, and for good reason. You want the Fold to feel like a regular phone, and it's pretty thin, but at the same time, this thinner design will lead to needing more protection and potentially slipperier feel. The next one you're not going to hear too much about is how the Z Folds don't have the best battery life by comparison to some other slab style phones. And they didn't improve it on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. They stayed at 4400 milliamp, which is pretty annoying considering it has a bigger screen and removed the S Pen and has a bigger front screen. So the 8 Elite better efficiency will probably make it about equal to the Z Fold 6 or maybe a little bit better in battery life, but the battery life has been a mixed bag on most Samsung phones that I use. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But overall, they tend to just not last as long. I don't know if it's One UI that just because it takes a lot of features, but they just tend to not last as long as like the Ultra line or even the Galaxy Plus line. But they definitely last longer than the S25 Edge from what I've seen. But definitely battery life is a huge question mark, and I'd be cautious about this. If you're buying this phone for extended battery life, this is probably not the one that's going to be the best. So on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, Samsung did bring a 200 megapixel camera, and they're doing the same with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. The main camera on the Z Fold 7 does look promising. However, but the price with this is pretty high because you need to realize that you can get the Galaxy S25 Ultra with triple cameras that are all high quality, but at least they improved the Galaxy Z Fold 6's main camera to a 200 megapixel. So that is a big deal, definitely. But you're probably still going to get better results like I talked about in my S25 Ultra, why I would buy that instead video. Probably still going to get better results there. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Samsung removed the S Pen support for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 to the Z Fold 7 here. So one of the things that really irritates me about that is that I've always loved that ability on this folding phone to use a Z Fold S Pen. In this case, last year with the Z Fold 6 was a slimmer design. And so it makes a lot of sense because you have a bigger canvas here on the Z Fold line, and now they went up to a larger canvas here, and they removed the slot to make the phone thinner. However, they also moved away from that under display camera, so you now have a punch hole, probably for image quality, but at the same time, but in doing this, what they did was they made this Z Fold not as unique because other foldable devices do have a punch hole camera, and I understand they probably just couldn't get the quality where they wanted it. It makes a lot of sense, but removing this, I thought they were going to get it to where they put the S Pen in the body of the Z Fold, but of course I would have to make it thicker. So I don't know if we'll see this make its return ever. So if you do want an S Pen style fold, Z Fold 6 is going to be your best option from last year for sure. And I'm definitely going to miss this for this line because while it is a feature a lot of people say they don't care about, that's kind of not thinking about the people who do care about it and who do like to write things on their fold. It should look at the screen size to draw on here. It's really nice. It really is quite nice feature. So we're removing that feature for this phone. So the next one is the Z Fold 7's resale value, just like the Z Fold 6, is likely going to be steep. It's like buying a luxury product, premium price up front, but heavy depreciation later. If you'd like to resell your phone and upgrade yearly, unless you're going to the next Samsung Z Fold, which then you're probably going to get your $1,000 trade-in, you're only going to be able to sell this for about $860 right there to $1,000. You can see even with refurbished, they're asking like $1,100 for it. So you're going to lose about $1,000 in just 1 year on buying a Z Fold device. So do keep that in mind. Resale value can be tough if you upgrade yearly. So I would not recommend upgrading to any folding device like this unless you're okay with depreciation, and it's even worse on competing foldable phones. At least this one gives you something back, but that's definitely an area that it might hurt a little bit. The crease on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is virtually not visible, but based on my experience with other folding devices, it becomes more noticeable with daily use. This one was already improved, but as you continue to flip it open and closed, I noticed this on some other foldables I've tried that it might become more visible. So you do see a lot of early reviews saying it's nearly not visible, but over time we'll have to see if it actually becomes more visible, because I've seen that before. One of the areas that I don't see talked about a lot is, do you see right here with this thin design, I think they show it right here, that camera bump sticks incredibly far off the back. Now, of course, to have great cameras and that super thin design, that's basically what has to happen here. But at the same time, that is a damage risk right there, unless you do rock a case. So a case is basically a must if you care about protecting the lens housing. Now, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 from last year right here actually does have the same IP48 rating. So it's water resistant. You can splash this phone, but it's not waterproof on the Z Fold right here. And the same is true for the Z Fold 7. And a lot of people are probably not giving you the full picture on that either, that you don't have full peace of mind with this type of product around the pool or the beach. So that's just something to be aware of. Still, again, and it's an amazing fold. It really is. But if you do want to, take your phone around the beach, the pool, you want total peace of mind, I don't think any of these foldables, not just this one, any foldable, in fact, is not a great option. So they're lagging behind on this device, the Z Fold 6 and the 7 as well, not super blazing fast charging speeds. If you're coming from something like a OnePlus folding phone or a Xiaomi folding phone, something like that, you definitely, if you're coming from one of the Chinese foldables, those definitely will be charging faster than these Samsung phones. And I get the argument, well, longer term, it's going to hurt the battery. I don't know if I buy that too much. The phones tend to last pretty long these days. I wish we've seen faster charging on the upcoming model. Now, the Z Fold 7 with the price increase to $2,000 really makes me wonder, why don't we have a micro SD card slot? I mean, I always, when I see prices like this, I want the full gamut. I want IP67, micro SD card, S Pen in the body, thin design. Doesn't have to be ultra thin like this one to give me thin design, but definitely I don't want sacrifices at this price. That's just my personal opinion on that one. But the next one is the $2,000 price point in general is, to me, a price barrier. Now, of course, with the trade-in discounts, a lot of people will be able to get one of these, but essentially you have to have like some of the highest end phones on the market in order to get these big trade-in values, or else you're going to be paying over $1,500 minimum if you're trading in some like older phones. So definitely you have to have a big trade-in, and I think that this $2,000 price barrier is pricing out a huge part of the market. So that's just something I thought about. Let's be real, I do feel like this is the Eastern version of catching up to the Chinese market of foldable phones. We've seen things like this: slimmer hardware, better screen ratios, more elegant designs. But this is finally a version of the Samsung Z Fold that finally catches up and it's for the Western market, USA and stuff of that sort, United States. So this is a really awesome product. I definitely do love this. And I think it's Samsung's most complete foldable yet. But it's easy to see why the buzz is so strong. But before you rush and go ahead and make the pre-order, I just wanted to give you this video so you have a more grounded perspective of what to expect. You obviously could just go read the spec sheet and see all the amazing things that are coming with it. And I already bought my Z Fold 7 because I was convinced enough that it's worth doing a review, and just in comparisons, just because bigger screen on the front and the inner display and the speed upgrades on all the S25s this year have been fun. But until then, let me know, is this the year that you're going to go to the Samsung Z Fold line, or are you going to stick with a slab style smartphone? Let's discuss that down below in the comments section of this video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me and subscribe for my upcoming Z Fold 7 content. I will be having comparisons, coming speed tests, as well as to see if this was really a worthy upgrade, coming in a week or so. So be subscribed. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.